This session is presented to you to help you with conversions, and again it's done by Leslie Graham and myself, Kathy Cummings. So we're going to go over some of the common conversions that nurses encounter in their everyday life. So we generally weigh people in kilograms, and many of the patients that are older will say, well, what does that mean in real weight? Although as we mature, I think that that's more important. My whole guesstimating for real weight is that I know 50 kilograms is 110 pounds and 100 kilograms is 220 pounds. Or 100 kilograms, I got a pound, is 220 pounds. If I was working pediatrics, I would probably divide that in half. 25 kilos is 55 pounds. But I tend to work with adults, so I'm just going to give you. So we're going to look at that. So you come in, and first of all, the formula, kilograms to pounds, we multiply by 2.2. The multiplication's easy because you're doing the same numbers. Pounds to kilos, you divide by 2.2. So we're weighing the patient and we're telling them you weigh 75 kilograms. And they say, okay, what's that in real weight? So we multiply by 2.2 and we go 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14 plus the 1 is 15. 2 times, and it's the same. So I just put a 0 and 2 5 times. I just copy this actually because you can see it's identical. But just remember your 0 in the front because you're going over one column. And so my patient, now we have one decimal. So we're going to just move this over the one place. And our answer is 165 pounds. And we go, yes. She is larger than 50 kilos. She's 75 kilos, so that makes sense. So your answer is 165 pounds. Now, your patient comes in and they say they weigh it's a big man. He's in his 60s, he weighs 240 pounds. So, and you need to quickly convert that to kilos. So we're going to divide by 2.2. Now remember the rule for dividing with decimals. On this side, you need to get rid of that. So I'm going to add a 0 here. And I'm going to move this over 1. See, I moved it once here. I have to move it once here. And I always, this is just me, but it's a good idea to put it here so you don't lose track of where you are. So let's hope this works. Now, 22 into 24 is going to go once. So there's my 22. Subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. This is 0. And then bring down the 0. 22 won't go into 20. So I am going to put 0. So 0, 20. Now I have to bring down another 0. Okay, and 22, I'm going to try this, into 200. I think it's going to be 88. No, it's going to be 9. 22 times 9, 2 9s are 18, 2 9s are 18, 19. Yes, so we're going to put a 9. 2 9s are 18, 2 9s are 19. 198, and we've got 2 left over. We're going to bring another one down, and that doesn't go in. If we needed 2 decimals, we could add another decimal here, but really at this point I think we're good with 109. Or should we do it? We should be okay. You've got an idea of how this works. The most common thing that you're doing though is usually this, where the patient asks you, okay, what's my weight in pounds? Let's go on and look at the 24-hour clock. And this is just a review for many of you, but you know our clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Although many of us are using digital clocks now, so we're not as familiar with this. We are just fine if it's AM. So this is midnight is actually, in most books, 0, 0, 0. That's our midnight. And then we start into 0, 0, 0, 1, etc. Noon is 1200. So just so you know. Now say it's 1:15 a.m. So we would have 1:15 a.m. and we kind of know that. The thing to do, a.m. we have no problem, but we need to make it a 24-hour clock. And so we're here at 1:15, so we go 0, 1, 15. In the hospital, they do not use the colon. There is no colon. So this 1:15 a.m., as we would see it written, is 0, 1, 1, 5. If it's 1:15 p.m., then you add 12 to that. So just add the number 12. And our answer would be 13:15. And if you need to, just having a cue card in your pocket with this. So you could see, once we hit noon, then we go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, or just add 12 to it. You could see 7 plus 12 is 19. 8 plus 12 is 20. But you could have this as a cue card in your pocket if you're having some difficulty with the 24-hour clock. Now, I'm going to go on to further conversions, and this is an adaptation that I learned when I went to the Davis Drug Guide book, or Davis Drug Math for Nurses, and I found it so helpful, although I slightly tweaked it. So we're converting 0.36 grams to milligrams. Let's put a little line in there. We want to convert. Now, which one is smaller? And we know grams are bigger, milligrams are bigger, and then micrograms are the smallest. So this is the smallest. And by the way, in the healthcare field, so there's not errors, we do write grams as GM or capital GM. We write milligrams this way. We write micrograms MCG, so there's no errors. I know that in your high school, you would sometimes see something like this. I forget how it goes. But we do not use this. We write out MCG, so there's no discrepancy between milligrams and micrograms. Okay, so we're back here. 0.36 grams. We want to go to milligrams. In the healthcare field, we're always moving 3 decimal places because it's always by thousands. So 1,000 micrograms make a milligram. 1,000 milligrams make a gram. So we're working by grams. But what really helped me was the one that's smaller. I'm then going to put the small part of my arrow towards the one that's smaller. So my 0.36, and I'm going to add a 0 here, needs to go over 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is that 0.36 grams equals 360 milligrams. I'm going to do this again. Milligrams to micrograms. Micrograms is smaller. So my decimal is going to move 3 places to the right because this is smaller. So 0.12, and I'm going to add a 0 because I know I need 3 places, is going to go 1, 2, 3. And so my answer is 120 micrograms. Now, in this case, we're converting 150 micrograms to milligrams. Which one is smaller? Micrograms is. So the small part of my arrow faces micrograms. And that means I have to move this decimal 3 places to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now in nursing and medicine, in the healthcare field, we never go decimal 1.5 and don't have a trailing 0. We always want to have that 0 in front to really delineate that that's 0.15. Now, some of you may want to write 0.150. Do not, because for some reason we as nurses or physicians might see that as 150, and we don't want any medication errors. So you always put the 0 in front, but don't have the trailing 0. Let's do milligrams to grams. Yep, that would be good. So let's do 32 milligrams. Which is the smaller? Milligrams is smaller than grams. So again, we're going to move our decimal 3 places. Now, so our decimal was here. 1, 2, 3. I need a 0 in there. So my answer is 0.032. So my answer here is 0.032 grams. And this arrow thing, I find really helps me, because I just write it out, I put a line, and then I go, which is the smaller one? That's when I have to move the 3 places. Same as liters to milliliters. 1,000 mils produces 1 liter. So we're always going by 3s. Okay, so let's put our line in. Now think about it. Which is smaller? Mils. So we're going to move the arrow to the right. So we've got 0.5, and I'm going to put some zeros in here. And we're going to go 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 0.5 liters is 500 mils. 500 mils. See, I don't want my trailing 0. Okay, mils to liters. Put the line in. Which one's smaller? Milliliters is. So I'm going to be moving this decimal over 3 places. So here's my 1, 2, 3. And so when you write the answer, you need to go 0. Here's my decimal 1. Sorry about that extra little line there. 0.1. Cross that out. 0.1 liters. So 100 mils is 0.1 liters, because we had to go to the right 3 places. And I think that covers our conversions. This is actually, I find this a lot easier. When I was in high school and I was taught about conversions, we had a step format, and my understanding is a lot of students are still learning that, and the steps get confusing, walking up and down the steps, etc. And I really find the arrow just makes it so much clearer. And the fortunate thing is we tend to always be moving 3 decimal places, one way or the other. So hopefully this is clear, and if you need more help, contact your faculty member.